Hey yo, GOAT format players, it's Skill Brown Magician here, and we're back with day number 4 of the Halloween deck profiles. We are more than halfway through the week, so I decided we're at the over halfway point, so I'm going to hit you guys with, I think, the spiciest profile yet. This is my deck, Grave of Malice. All right, let's get into the profile. This is a crazy take on an Ectoplasmer deck. I'm running so much spice in this build. I hope you guys appreciate it, and I hope you guys stick around till the stratagems so that way you can see kind of the explanation and interactions and combos with this deck. All right, so we're playing triple Gravekeepers Chief. His effect, no one ever plays this guy, but he has a really cool effect and it fits even better in this deck. You can only control one face-up Gravekeeper's Chief. Your graveyard is unaffected by Necro Valley. So let me repeat that. Your graveyard is unaffected by Necro Valley as long as he's on the field. And if you have him on the field with Necro Valley, it boosts him up to 2400, which is really good. However, it's this effect that I really like. When this card is tribute summoned, you can target one Gravekeeper's monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. This effect works because of his continuous effect, which is your graveyard's unaffected by Necro Valley. So it allows you to have graveyard interactions even under Necro Valley. Super spicy, and you'll see why with the other card choices. We're obviously playing Triple Malice Doll of Demise. This just fits the Halloween theme perfectly, and I just love the artwork. And then let's check out the effect. It's super specific. During your next standby phase, after this card was sent from the field to the graveyard by the effect of a continuous spell card, special summon this card from the graveyard. And look at his stats. He's a level 4 Dark Fiend with 1600 attack and 1700 defense. That is not bad. That is some respectable stats for this little Malice doll of Demise. We're playing the one Sanguine, so we can get our Sinister Serpent and we can search any of our Gravekeepers, which is really nice. Triple Spy. We're playing one Assailant. His effect, when this card declares an attack while Necro Valley is on the field, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and change that target's battle position. If you have him with Necro Valley, he's a crazy card. He can get rid of a lot of stuff because a lot of monsters don't have 2000 defense, right? Gravekeeper Spear Soldier, his effect's just on all the time, regardless of Necro Valley being on our field or not. His effect is if he attacks a defense position monster, you just inflict piercing battle damage. And when he goes up to 2k, that's pretty significant. We play the one Sinister Serpent, we have Tribe Infecting Virus, and Breaker. Then we have Snatch and triple Ectoplasmer to combo off with Malice Doll of Demise. Once per turn during each player's end phase, the turn player must tribute one face-up monster, and if they do, inflict damage to their opponent equal to half the original attack of the tributed monster. So, for each player, you have to tribute one face-up monster in the end phase of your turn. And when you do, you inflict some burn damage equivalent to half of the original attack of the tributed monster. So with Malice Doll of Demise, you're inflicting 800 damage once per turn, which is not bad. And then he special summons himself out during our next standby phase. We're playing Trinity. We have just MST. We're not playing heavy because we're playing so many continuous cards that we don't really want to run heavy. So we have triple Necro Valley. We're not running Terraforming. We don't need to see it, right away. Triple copies is enough. And then Card of Safe Return. When a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, you can draw one card. So you're starting to see the synergy now, and we'll go more into the stratagems and the specific interactions and combos. We run one Premature Burial because Gravekeeper's Chief allows us to. We're running the Trinity of Traps, triple Solemn Judgment, and triple Rite of Spirit. Target one Gravekeeper's monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. This card's activation and effect are unaffected by Necro Valley. This is like 3 copies of Call of the Haunted that works under Necro Valley, and you don't even need Gravekeeper's Chief to pull it off. Super spicy. Alright, guys, if you've been enjoying this Halloween content, let me know in the comments down below. Consider giving me a like or a sub. And I don't know, maybe, just maybe, I'll consider doing this for Thanksgiving as well. Maybe I'll do like a Thanksgiving week special. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, for the stratagems, man, you guys already kind of saw uh, Ectoplasmer plus Malice. It's 800 life points per turn, once per your turn, of course. And then it also means you get an extra monster in your standby phase. So it's basically like you get a special summon, your normal summon, and it's like you have 2 monsters on field. You can apply a ton of pressure. And the fact that Malice keeps going uh, and doing extra damage with the 800 life points, it can start to add up. Plus, there's so many neat interactions by bringing back this extra monster from your graveyard. You can, use the Malice doll and tribute it off for Gravekeeper's Chief and to potentially, special summon another Gravekeeper from your graveyard, right? Also, Malice is really nice in this deck because it has a solid defense stat of 1700, so you can set him, you can bait out Nox, so that way you're not getting your Gravekeeper Spy hit by Knock. So I really, really like that. He has 1700 defense. That's a pretty solid stat, and he can kind of wall out some of your opponent's weaker monsters. And pretty much like all recruiters, even Breaker after it's used its token, even wall out a, tribe, at least for one battle phase. But are they really gonna, discard a card to get rid of Malice Doll of Demise? I don't know. So Malice is pretty good. And also, um, I mean, you guys, the artwork, seeing this close up, right? He has this crazy axe. Look at this background. You can tell this is one of the older cards, and it's like a wooden doll. It's like an evil Pinocchio. Super dope card. But this card works even better when you have card of safe return because you just get all of these extra draws. You get this engine going. You protect it with Solemn. You have Necro Valley so they're not banishing your monster, right? There's just so many cool interactions. And, I don't know. I really think that I've never seen a Ectoplasmer deck running a Gravekeeper engine with triple Rite of Spirit. And man, I just love the fact that Necro Valley, like, well, I don't love this, but let me clarify. Necro Valley, it stops Malice in Graveyard sometimes, but that's only if you don't have Gravekeeper's Chief, because if you have Chief, remember how I mentioned in the profile, he actually negates Necro Valley's effect for you only. So it allows you to even run Ectoplasmer and Malice under Necro Valley if you have a Gravekeeper Spy on field. So you can do some really crazy, intricate combos with this deck. And I mean, Necro Valley is just such a good, anti-meta card because it's stopping your opponent from banishing, it's stopping them from using premature burial, like we might see in a replay at the end of the video, and it's just such a good card. Okay, so Gravekeeper Spy, obviously it fetches any of your Gravekeepers from your deck to field, and this isn't like a traditional like Chaos Turbo deck or whatever, where it's really important that you have all 3 copies of Gravekeeper Spy. As long as you can just resolve him like once or twice, that's fine. If you see 2 in hand, that's actually really not a bad thing. Sorry, that's what I meant, but this isn't like Chaos Turbo. If you see 2 Gravekeeper Spy in hand, you're actually happy because you know that he can fetch, either the Soldier or I think Assailant, right? Is the other one. So that's really good. Triple Rite of Spirit also means that you can just go for more reckless pushes with Gravekeepers. A lot of times we're really hesitant about putting our Gravekeeper Spy, flipping it into attack, and then special summoning out our other one in attack 2. But in this deck, we're running triple Rite of Spirit, so if they use removal, you can just special summon another one back out, and you now have 2,000 beater if you have Necro out on the field. And then here's where it gets really interesting. Rite of Spirit plus Gravekeeper's Chief, if you have one copy of Card of Safe Return on the field, if you use Rite of Spirit, it'll special summon a Gravekeeper monster, right? Let's just say, it's going to bring out a Gravekeeper's monster. You get a draw. Then you're going to tribute that Gravekeeper monster off with Gravekeeper's Chief, and then his effect goes off, and you can special summon the monster that you just tributed. So for Gravekeeper Chief, you can tribute the monster, and then that monster you just tributed, you can special summon it if it's a Gravekeeper monster. So with Rite of Spirit, special summon that Gravekeeper monster, get your draw. Then Gravekeeper Chief, you tribute that monster off, special summon it back out with Chief's effect. You get 2 draws. So that engine is so crazy. If you have multiple card of safe returns, you can even get more draws because both of those effects will go off. Man, I just love that synergy of Rite of Spirit with GK Chief. It's so nice. So, and this is the thing, both of these effects work under Necro Valley. Both of those effects work under Necro Valley. You see, guys, this is why we stay until the stratagems, so you can see all of the crazy thought process that I put into the deck, so that when you guys play it, it's fun and it's enjoyable. And even though this deck I think is the most casual of the bunch so far, I still think that this deck can do some cool things. And one last thing, Ectoplasmer plus Necro Valley is a sad opponent because you're tributing off their face-up monsters. It's really difficult for them to apply pressure. You have 2 monsters that can do piercing damage, and also when they tribute off their monsters, they can't even touch those monsters in graveyard because of Necro Valley. So just so much synergy in this deck. I really like it. Let's check out this gameplay. It's actually a match against this guy Bruto, who's playing a Harpies deck. And shout outs to this guy. I actually just built this deck last night, you guys, and I just put it out here for you guys to enjoy. Man, I just built this last night, and I actually switched out one of the other decks I had in rotation because I thought this one was spicier. So I'm always trying to, hook it up for you guys. So I hope you guys appreciate it. But yeah, I dueled this guy last night, and we had a really fun match. It was really cool talking to him. He even plays Melee. If you guys play Melee, let me know who your mains are down below. And this guy, I'm inspired by his deck. I want to make a Harpies deck in the future. So anyways, let's get into the gameplay. So I was able to set Malice Doll. I set MST, and I have Rite of Spirit on board. I just don't have any of my Gravekeepers monsters yet. So as soon as he brings out Harpies, I'm just going to MST it. The reason I do this is because I know he's going to have the Harpy in hand. He wouldn't activate that if he didn't have the Harpy in hand, so I'm just going to get rid of that now, so his Harpy doesn't get the effect to pop one in my back row. This is such a crazy field spell. I'm totally going to make a deck around Harpies. You guys are going to like it. Anyways, okay, so he brings out his Harpy Lady 2, which negates the effects of flip monsters. However, Malice Doll isn't a flip, and it has 1700 defense, so it survives the turn. He sets a back row, passes turn to me, and I get my card. So I'm happy. So I go Breaker to get rid of his back row. Now I activate Necro Valley, reactivate Card of Safe Return. Then, let's go in. Rite of Spirit, special summon, Gravekeeper Spear Soldier. He's at 2,000 attack, and because I special summon him from the graveyard under Necro Valley, I get to draw a card, and I get another Necro Valley just in case. So here I'm just going for a crazy damage push. I really love Gravekeepers, you guys. I mean, come on, perfect for the theme. They're protecting the grave. Halloween theme. We have Malice Doll of Demise, crazy combos, things that work under Necro Valley. Man, I was really happy with this deck. And I'm definitely looking forward to playing it more. So here he activates Prima, but that does not work with Necro Valley. So he has nothing and he just admits defeat there. And then this is where he we start chit-chatting about Melee. But anyways, I shouldn't have showed you what he said, but that's okay. We're going to get into the gameplay. So I just T-set, and I'm going to see what he has. He has Kamakiri to get out his Harpies, but Malice Doll of Demise has too much defense. I really like that card. And he goes Brain Control, and he gets me pretty good here. I'm not going to lie. I was really surprised by this play because it's main phase 2. He didn't normal summon yet, and then he hits me with this random Thestalos. And I was like, wow, that's spicy. And he gets rid of my MST, which that sucks. So nice play there. Definitely didn't expect a Thestalos. And here I'm kind of in a tough position. I don't have any Gravekeepers in Graveyard yet for Rite of Spirit, but I'm going to set my card of Safe Return as a bluff, and I'm going to hope that he thinks one of my back row is Mirror Force. And try to save myself from some damage here. He brings out his Harpy Lady number 2, and he actually does switch 1 to defense, but I still take 37. So we're going down here. And I get another Malice Doll, and I'm just going to go ahead and activate Necro Valley. And I wanted to see what his back row was, and he actually ends up Solemn. He uses Solemn to negate it, and I'm okay with that. I have my Solemn set now, a Rite of Spirit and Card of Safe Return. I didn't need the Necro Valley just yet. So it was actually good that I traded there, and he paid his life points. So here he's just going for a huge push, and what's nice is Doll of Demise saves me from a hit there, and he takes 400, and he has to clear it with Thestalos because Kamakiri can't clear it. So saves me a good amount of damage there. But I draw into another Rite of Spirit, and that's going to be game 2. Didn't really have anything there. That was a bummer. Okay, so we're going into our last game here, and I just set the Malice Doll. He gets his Harpy's Hunting Ground. He's going to set 2, and he hits me with Dust Shoot. He gets rid of my Breaker, so I know that his other back row is important. So I'm just going to swing in with Malice Doll, and pretty respectable damage, 1600, and I figured, why not with Sangan? Because Sangan's a safe bet. Even if you were to Mirror Force, I'd at least get one of my Gravekeepers out. Or back to hand, at least. So he goes here, and he's playing Twin-Headed Behemoth. Pretty spicy. That would be a good card in a Malice Doll deck, considering. Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually not bad. Okay, so I get my Spear Soldier, and I get Necro Valley here, so I don't use Necro Valley yet because I know he's saving that back row, and I don't really need to use it. So I attacked with Malice Doll, clear him, and then I just poke with 15. And his effect, he comes back out, and he tributes it off for Jinzo. So nice play there, and then he tributes, or he banishes the wind from the graveyard, and he brings out a Sylphid. So that was like a crazy play. Pretty effective, and he clears my field. And he has a Jinzo, a 1700 beater. When it's destroyed by battle, I have to discard a random card, and then he dust shoots me again. And here it's interesting because he picks Assailant. Because Assailant can actually deal with Jinzo if you have Necro Valley. So it's like I mentioned before, um, Necro Valley and Assailant are really powerful because you can clear so many monsters in Go format with the 2000 attacker that can switch things into defense, right? That's really busted. So here I go Necro Valley first just to get his Solemn Judgment out of the way. And he pays half his life points. And here I just make my play. I discard, and I attack in for 16. And it's looking pretty rough. And I top deck into Ectoplasmer. And that's going to be game because he has 300 life points. I'm not going to even swing into his face down because I have Ectoplasmer, and I'm just going to tribute off my Gravekeeper Spy during end phase, and that is going to be game. So that burns him for the last 300, and that clears out the game. So that's Grave of Malice. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Let me know what you guys think. I think this one definitely the spiciest out of the ones I've released so far. But I gotta say, I still think that the next 3 days are going to be profiles that get even spicier. They're going to be even more fun. I hope you guys have been enjoying this. It's been a lot of fun putting out all these profiles just back to back to back to back to back. I don't think anyone has really put out 7 profiles in a row. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. All right, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Take care. Peace.